It wasn't what he said. It was you didn't have the words. What you had was a stomach that clenched when you walked by him, a spine that straightened in hope, a small buzzing ache in your chest that waited for touch like a plant waits for light.
This is the quiet fire, a space for what men never say, but always feel. A place where desire doesn't need permission, where memory breathes through the skin, and truth whispers through silence.
And when it didn't come, you told yourself he was just tired, or busy, or not that kind of dad. You watched his hands work, fix things, hold newspapers, grip coffee mugs, but not you, not once. And so the wound formed quietly, an invisible imprint, not a scar from what was done, but from what was withheld. The kind of absence that doesn't bruise the skin, but empties something beneath it. And you learned, without anyone telling you, that men don't reach. That love, if it exists, doesn't arrive through hands. That maybe you weren't supposed to need it, but your body never agreed. Your body waited, still waits, for a contact that never came. What he didn't do. The way his hand never reached. The way your shoulder, your hair, your face were never part of the story. Not a slap, not a pat, not even a firm grasp that said, "I see you, son." Just space, a clean, cold space between your body and his. You didn't call it loneliness back then. It didn't start as sex, or even desire. It started as proximity, as the ache to sit a little closer to another boy without being laughed at, as the fantasy that someone stronger would take your side without asking questions, as the ache behind your eyes when a coach yelled at you and no one reached out. It's a hunger that doesn't live in your crotch. It lives in your ribs. It pulses in the silence after conflict, in the way you held your breath when another man stood too close, not because you feared danger, but because something ancient flickered, and you didn't know what to do with it, so it shape-shifted, became sarcasm, or competition, or late-night porn that had nothing to do with the body and everything to do with presence. You started pushing people away to hide the fact that what you actually wanted was to be held, not fixed, not seduced, just held. And maybe you found moments, glimpses of closeness that blurred the lines, but they were always followed by guilt, confusion, or sudden coldness. Because how do you name a hunger that's not supposed to exist? How do you admit you wanted someone to stay, not to fuck, not to fix, but just to stay? By the time you were old enough to name it, touch had already been poisoned. A hug had to be quick. A pat on the back had to come with a joke. And if another man's hand lingered, even for a second, alarm bells rang in your chest. Not because it was wrong, but because it was rare. And you didn't know what to do with tenderness unless it came with an exit strategy. You remember the near moments, the hand that started to reach and then retreated. The friend who pulled you into a hug but clapped your back too hard. The one time someone looked at you too long and you broke eye contact, not out of anger, but panic, because something in you was ready to feel and the rest of you wasn't. You've spent your life calculating every gesture, how long a touch should last, when to pull away, what's safe to show. And so even now, when someone offers you warmth without reason, part of you freezes, as if kindness is too close to danger, as if softness is a doorway to something you're not allowed to want. And maybe that's the deepest sadness, not that touch became rare, but that it became suspect. Even when you forget, your body doesn't. It remembers the moments it leaned in and was met with cold, the times it softened and was left waiting. It remembers the tension in your thighs when someone sat too close, the flutter in your belly when your friend's shoulder brushed yours, the way you held your breath at sleepovers, not out of fear, but out of something far more complicated. Your skin remembers what it never received, and it waits, not like a victim, like a radar. It listens for safety, for softness, for presence that doesn't come with punishment. And when it finds it, if it ever does, it trembles. It doesn't always open gently. Sometimes it flinches. Sometimes it gets hard when it wants to cry. Sometimes it goes numb because the memory is too raw. But that's not failure. That's the body's way of saying, this matters. That touch is not casual. That you weren't crazy for wanting it. That the absence you felt was real. And that healing won't start in the mind. It will start in the skin. You became good, strong, reliable. You knew how to hold others, how to lead, how to provide. People looked up to you, desired you, respected you. But when someone tried to offer you softness, you didn't know where to put it. Compliments made you uncomfortable. Affection made you freeze. You kept performing strength because you didn't know what else was expected. And deep down, something in you believed that receiving was dangerous. That if you let someone in, truly in, they'd see the boy underneath. The boy who never got held. The boy who doesn't trust good things to stay. So you kept giving advice, giving space, giving comfort. But when it was your turn to be held, you changed the subject. You made a joke. You got distracted. Because receiving would mean breaking the contract, the unspoken agreement with your past that said, I'll survive as long as I don't need anything. But brother, you do. And that's not weakness. That's truth. So now, what if we touched differently? What if not every hand had to grab? Not every gaze had to dominate? What if touch could be quiet and full? Not performative, not dramatic, just real, just present. What if we learned to sit close without tension, to stay without fixing, to feel without needing a reason? This isn't about sex, it's about honesty, about relearning a language our bodies spoke before shame took it away. Imagine a world where men touch not to prove, but to honor, where a hand on your shoulder doesn't ask anything of you, where presence becomes protection. You don't have to rush into it, but you can start by noticing. The next time someone reaches for you, pause, breathe, stay 1 second longer than you usually would. That's where it begins, not in grand gestures, but in small permissions, the kind you give yourself, the kind you've been waiting for. This is the quiet fire. Not the fire that burns, the fire that warms, the fire that stays.
If this opened something in you, sit with it or come find me.